Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and welcome to another English lesson here on the channel, where I have the opportunity to help you with your English comprehension, vocabulary, and your English fluency. Today, I have a C-2 English through story lesson that we will go through. If you would like some of my read and repeat lessons, be sure to check out my playlist. As always, I will have a quiz at the end of today's lesson. And I'm excited about today's lesson. I have been a little under the weather for the past few days. And so I've been trying to get my strength back up. And I'm glad to be back with you guys. So if you're ready for a little bit of learning and laughter, let's dive into today's lesson. Freddy had always dreamed of becoming an actor. So he left his small town and moved to Hollywood with high hopes. Notice Freddy had always dreamed. So he had always imagined, or he had always looked forward or planned to do something. So you might say in a sentence, I dream of going to Paris one day. Or I dream of having a convertible car one day. Okay, so you imagine, you think about, you ponder or meditate. Now, notice Freddy desired to move to Hollywood. Okay, Hollywood, of course, is in California, right around Los Angeles. And Hollywood has a number of different nicknames. Sometimes it's called Tinseltown. Some people call Hollywood Hollyweird because all of the weird things that seems to be accepted as normal. Okay, but Hollywood is a city where people go to film television shows, make movies. It's where a lot of the studios produce movies here in this country. And if you're in another country, Hollywood is somewhat like the entertainment capital of the world. Okay, Orlando, Florida is the vacation capital of the world. Atlanta has become a music as well as a film industry capital of the world. So Hollywood, as we all know, is known for the movies. And notice Freddy had high hopes. Okay. In other words, Freddy believed that he could do it. Everything was going to go well. It would be, as we would say, a piece of cake. It's going to be simple. It's going to be easy. But we're not naive. We all know anytime you have a dream or a plan, you're going to encounter some difficult times to test whether you believe that you can do it or not. So let's see what happened to Freddy. However, the reality of life, okay? So sometimes we say things got real. I thought it was going to be easy, but things got real when I started my new job. Okay, so sometimes we say you need to face reality. Okay, it's not how you think or dream it's going to be. Face reality. Marriage takes hard work. Okay, or let's just face the reality. Prices are high. Okay, however, the reality of life in Hollywood hit him hard. Excuse me. So when reality hit him hard, sometimes we say it's a slap in the face, or we may say or describe something as hitting you hard as, wow, I didn't expect it to be like this. Reality really hit home. It hit me kind of hard when I moved out of my parents' house. I did not know, you might say, life cost so much, or living on your own had high expenses. So it hit him hard. And within months, he found himself homeless. Homeless. Wow, Freddy. And I have heard that, and I know actually because I've been out there, I haven't lived there, but when we visited California, we found out that the cost of living is very high. Okay. So there are a lot of people I have heard in California that make $100,000 and they are homeless. So could you imagine Freddy moving to Hollywood and the prices, the cost of living was so extreme. He had to live on the street or maybe in his car, but he could not afford a home or an apartment. Wow. Let's see how it ends with Freddy. For 8 long months, Freddy lived on the streets. Lived on the streets. So when a person lives on the streets, they may actually live on the streets. They may sleep under a tree, a bench, a corner. When I went to New York a few weeks ago, we saw so many homeless people just sleep on the streets, no clothes, little clothes, feet, body just dirty, but just laid out living. So sad. But there are a lot of homeless people here in this country. And Freddy hit some hard times. And now he's been homeless for 8 months. Notice, struggling to make ends meet and still attending auditions whenever possible. Okay, making ends meet. That is a term that we use in English to describe having a balanced budget. So if you have expenses, all of your expenses are paid. You're making ends meet. So ends meet. So the two ends touch. So my expenses and my income, they're balanced. They're meeting. And so he couldn't make ends meet. Therefore, he was homeless, but still going to auditions. Wow. He faced constant rejection for 3 years. Woo. Freddy really wanted it. He was determined. Even though he was facing rejections or turn downs, he didn't give up. He didn't quit. And isn't that how life is? Sometimes you just get disappointment after disappointment, but you can't quit. You got to remember Freddy. I can't give up. I can't quit. Notice he faced constant rejection for 3 years, never landing a role despite his passion and determination. Passion, despite his passion. So despite his desires, okay, despite his wishes, he just did not give up. He believed or hoped against hope. He just believed that even though it wasn't going his way, things were going to turn around for the better. Isn't that how learning English is? Sometimes you think you know it and then you learn something else and you're like, oh my goodness, it's so overwhelming, but you can't give up. Okay. To support himself, Freddy took a part-time job at Foot Locker. Foot Locker, barely making enough to survive. So Foot Locker is a shoe store here in the United States, and I'm pretty sure they have some in other countries, but Foot Locker sells sporting apparel, Nikes, Reebok, Van shoes, Foot Locker. And it's usually a minimum wage paying job unless you're in management. Now, notice another way to describe his financial state, trying to make ends meet. We said earlier, now he says he was barely making enough to survive. Okay, barely making enough to survive. So if you're taking notes, sometimes we say, I'm just keeping my head above water. Okay, I'm up to my nose in expenses. I'm making just enough to survive. By the time Freddy bought groceries, clothes, he just had enough to feed himself or make enough to survive. One day, while helping a customer at work, Freddy met an agent who was intrigued by his ambition and offered him an audition for a sitcom. Okay. While helping a customer. Okay. So a customer, someone who is buying goods or services. Freddy met an agent. So not a special agent, but an agent in the entertainment industry is someone who helps an actor or actress find work, or usually they call it gigs. I'm trying to find someone, or I need an agent to help me find some work or some gigs. So while Freddy was working at Foot Locker, an agent is someone who uses his or her time to help Freddy find an acting role. Okay. Notice the agent was intrigued. So maybe while he was trying on shoes or Freddy was showing him around the store, Freddy shared his story, his testimony to the agent. And he said, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you an opportunity. Okay. I'm going to give you a chance. Or sometimes we say, I'm going to open a door for you. And when you're in Freddy's position and you're looking for an opportunity, sometimes we describe that as, I just need to get my foot in the door. Okay. I just need a little opportunity to show what I'm capable of. It's kind of like how I feel with my channel. I'm confident that my lessons are helpful to English learners, and all I need is just a few minutes to teach someone, and I got them. They'll enjoy my style. I'm looking for a breakthrough, an opportunity. Okay. Now, a sitcom is a word that we use to describe a television show. Okay, a sitcom, usually a comedy that comes on television for 30 minutes or an hour. Nervous but excited, Freddy gave it his best shot. To his amazement, or he was surprised, landed a role that would change his life. So his perseverance paid off. That day marked the beginning of his long-awaited breakthrough. That day marked, okay? So it was a special day for him, okay? So when I had my first son, that day marked my time here on earth as special because that's the day I became a father. okay, that day marked, okay, letting us know that it's a special day, something historic, celebratory, okay. That day marked the beginning of his long awaited breakthrough. So a breakthrough is where Freddy was getting turned down after turn down after turn down till finally, after 3 years, something good happened. That was a breakthrough. Okay. And Freddy finally saw his dream start to come true. Now, would you say his dream just started to come true when he got his breakthrough, or when he continued to persevere? I think the rejection is also a part of the success. Sometimes we just talk about the success, but the rejection is a part of the success to me, because that's what makes it an amazing story. So let's read through this story about Freddy moving to Hollywood, his perseverance without stopping, without explaining, and let's see if you can comprehend as well as keep up at the pace that I read. Let's dive back in. Freddy had always dreamed of becoming an actor, so he left his small town and moved to Hollywood with high hopes. However, the reality of life in Hollywood hit him hard, and within months, he found himself homeless. For 8 long months, Freddy lived on the streets, struggling to make ends meet and still attending auditions whenever possible. He faced constant rejection for 3 years, never landing a role despite his passion and determination. To support himself, Freddy took a part-time job at Foot Locker, barely making enough to survive. One day, while helping a customer at work, Freddy met an agent who was intrigued by his ambition and offered him an audition for a sitcom. Nervous but excited, Freddy gave it his best shot and, to his amazement, landed a role that would change his life. That day marked the beginning of his long-awaited breakthrough, and Freddy finally saw his dream start to come true. What a great story about perseverance and overcoming struggle. Let's look at a few quiz questions and then we'll be done for today. What is an audition? What is an audition? We talked about that in today's story. Freddy had been turned down from auditions for a long time. Let me know down in the comment section, what is an audition? Number 2, what does breakthrough mean? Okay, what does breakthrough mean? Freddy finally got a breakthrough after 3 years. And what is rejection? So I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. If you want my notes, make sure you join the Patreon. There's a link down in the description. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Be sure to check out my other channel, Parlay with Jay, where I have conversations with you about various topics and I help improve your listening skills through reading. So check that out. I think I'm going to go make a video on there today or tomorrow just to talk to you guys about how my last few days have been. Well, as always, if you've enjoyed today's lesson, please share it with a friend. And I hope you join me on my next English lesson.